Here we go. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. We
Welcome
back.
Back in, everybody, man. This is
Yes, sir.
exciting, dude.
Yeah, we back at it. You know what I'm saying? Black History Month special for the month.
Yes.
That's what we doing out here.
If you guys haven't already checked out our first episode, go do that.
Yes.
Go do that. Aaron, Hank Aaron. And I was about to say, you know what
Aaron
I was about
Fraser.
to say? Yeah.
I know.
Sorry, dude.
No, you're good.
A little
You're-
music on the mind. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're good. You're solid. You're solid, bro. We're good.
Yeah. And then Cicely Tyson, man.
Cicely Tyson, yeah.
We had a great first episode, man.
I agree. I think so as well.
I think we have another fire one for this
I'm
week
really
as
excited
well,
about
dude.
this one. Mhm,
Yeah.
for sure.
So really looking forward to it. Let's jump in, dude. Let's
get right to it, man.
We are doing Carter.
The godfather of Black History Month.
Yes, he is known as the father of Black history. I need to say his whole name. I stopped because you got me off guard.
Sorry.
Carter G. Woodson.
Well, the reason I said the godfather because his middle name is Godwin.
You're right.
So
It is
Carter Godwin, the
Yes.
godfather.
You are very correct
Woodson.
on that. Yes.
I know I am. Thanks for letting me know.
Man, I was so glued in reading
Yeah, man.
everything about him. Very fascinating man. As a matter of fact, when I was reading about him, I think I read numerous times, what a great man. What a great man. What a great man. I was like, man, whoever the authors of all this stuff really, look at this guy as one of the greats. And to be honest, I'm kind of a little upset at myself that I didn't know this guy, but that's why we do these
That's
specials.
why we do. That's
dude.
why
Like,
we do this. That's why we
because
here.
it's learning about these individuals in history for Black History Month, man, is just learning something new, keeping your mind open to the history of things.
Yeah.
And learning that we'll get there, of how he came up with. He didn't start Black History Month per se, but he is the father of starting a history. So
Right.
let's give a little background, I guess, for Carter Woodson, and he grew up in a very rough time. He was born in 1875.
Crazy.
He died in 1950.
Yep.
But he was a historian.
Yeah.
He loved history. He grew up. His mom and dad were slaves.
Yep.
And obviously grew up very poor. His dad was construction, doing odd jobs around. He had to help out the family.
Well, yeah. Back in those times, I mean, it was, education as a whole wasn't really thought of as like mandatory just for the culture in general. And then especially when you're talking about Black families in that time,
Right.
it was like, yo, we got to do what we got to do to survive. And so
Put some bread on the table.
you got to put some bread on the table. So
Right.
when your feet could move and your hands could work, you had to get after it.
And then he worked the coal
Period.
mines as well, trying to support his family and stuff. And
Right.
in between all that, he's going to school, right? And he's going to an all-black school, high school. And he's, I think he graduated when he was 20 years old, if I remember correctly, right? But he was so good at his studies, he almost instantly became a teacher at that point. I think when he was 21, he became a teacher at the high school.
Yeah.
Doing teaching. It's just crazy to me, dude, that he comes from working hard, then working even harder on his education, and then becoming a teacher at the high school that he would just attended, and then later on, a few years down the road, becomes the principal.
Right. Became the principal.
At a very young age.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was like 24, I
Yeah.
think or 23
Yeah.
or 24, he became the principal of this all-black high school.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's worked himself up to being an educator.
Right.
That it was built in his blood, in his
it was
DNA.
what he wanted to do. Yeah, for sure.
You know, just fascinating, and then in that time, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as we keep saying, I mean, the amount of struggles that were present in those times for black individuals, especially, was, you know, it was hard to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And there was no, you know, a semblance of a fair shake. You know, you really had to go out there and get it. You know, and again, education was a huge afterthought, because it was just about getting out of slavery and getting to some type of normal life. And you know, things were hard. You know, things were very hard, and it wasn't like the banks were giving loans, obviously. And
right.
So, you know, and school was, like, again, school wasn't necessary per se to move forward, as long as you could develop some type of trade or skill.
Right. If your hands and your feet are moving, and
right. If you had a trade or a skill back then, I mean,
right.
it was all industrial anyway. So most people in like I said, in America went that route anyways, but most people in the black community definitely went that route, you
right.
know, of
right.
hard work, hard labor. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure. But crazy, man. Even went on even more in his education, you know, graduating from multiple colleges, right?
Yeah.
You know, University of Chicago in 1908, right? For history. And then even in Harvard.
Went to Harvard.
Harvard University.
Got his PhD at Harvard. And yeah, go ahead.
Bro, like, okay, think he graduated in 1912 from Harvard with a PhD.
With a PhD?
Think of the okay, we talked about the struggle, but how Harvard at that time.
It's right? Harvard, bro. Still to this day, it's Harvard.
Right. And to graduate with a PhD, some dedication that is just on another level, dude.
Yeah, well, like, you got to understand, not only is it hard, like, Harvard's hard because it's Harvard, period, right? It's a hard college school to attend because the curriculum is through the roof, and it's always been. That's why it has the notoriety that it has. You know, that's why the Princetons of the world have the same notoriety, you know? And so, but then you think about that, and, you know, choosing to go that route instead of a black college, you know what I'm saying? And choosing to go to Harvard, the amount of, you know, just issues he had with racism, dealing with racism, and, you know, in a predominantly white school.
Right.
You know?
Predominantly.
I mean, still to this day, dog. Like, it's not even like things have really changed. That was in what, 19...
That was 1912 when he graduated. 1912. But you got to figure he probably went there for, you know, a couple years, few years,
so
whatever.
He graduated in 1912. It's now, you know, 2021, and it's still virtually the same. Like, the demographic hasn't really changed much in the sense that, you know, it's predominantly white, you know?
Right.
So what he had to endure during those times is, you know, and still be able, like you said, the key word you said was the dedication, was what he had, the dedication he had to have to not only do that, but go get your PhD, which was still to this day is huge,
dude.
Yeah, I mean,
to go through years of college to get your PhD, years, dude. I mean, you know, you're talking associates,
12,
bachelor's, master's, PhD. That's a long period of time to be in school, but it's something he loved, and
it's what he wanted to do.
He loved the history, and he always thought something was lacking, and it was the black history.
Of course,
you know, and he was just, you know, he was part of the American History Association, right? And even though he paid his dues, he never was really allowed to go to the meetings and stuff like that because of
They didn't
because
want
he was
him.
black.
They didn't want him there.
Didn't want him
They
there.
didn't care about his history.
Right. But he still kept pursuing
Right.
because of his love of history.
Yes.
And knowing the importance of having black history, he is the dude. It's amazing that he pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to get to a point where we have Black History Month, basically.
And see, that's the thing, right? Was like when you think about these times and the things that forever changed the landscape of the inclusion of black culture into and the civil rights and things that we're still dealing with today,
right?
But it just wasn't even, I hate saying this, it just wasn't a thing, but there wasn't anything there for the country to see, to look at, to read about, to for one, they didn't care to, and two, black people needed to have that as well, needed to be able to learn more about themselves as well, because if you think of and that, so my thing is him pushing and pushing and pushing, like that's what was done back then and still is today, but that's what was done. And if it wasn't for him just, hey, I'm gonna pay my dues, and look, I really don't like y'all, I don't respect what you guys are doing, you guys are not making me, you're not giving me a seat at the table, but I'm going to keep knocking on the door until you give me a seat at the table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that, man, dude, I swear, man, that dedication is just so killer, dude. Like, man, we all should have a part of that as something that we, it's inspirational, dude. Yeah. Like, it's inspiration. It should be inspirational to everybody, in some sort of fact, like whatever it is you want to pursue, you know, and pursue it, and keep pushing. And if something you love, you don't give up on it. You keep pushing through, and breaking down those walls.
Yeah.
Just such an inspiration. And that's why I couldn't stop reading on him, dude.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Go ahead.
Real quick, man. Were you saying there was like some Netflix show or something on him?
No.
Okay.
I was watching. I just thought it was funny because we try to talk about, especially this month, the topics. And I thought it was funny that you hit me up with that, like, yo, we should do this. Mm-hmm. And I think that day or the next day I was watching Emmanuel Acho, who's
that's right. Yeah.
a sports analyst on Fox Sports 1. And he was talking about a question that he's been presented multiple times. And so he started to answer the question by giving a little bit of history, and
he was part of that.
He got brought up in that statement.
Gotcha. Okay. I was like, man, I wanted to clarify on that because I was just thinking about it. It just hit my brain again, and I was thinking, man, if there was a Netflix special or something like a, little, if it was part of a series or something like that, I was like, man, I would like to check that out.
Right,
what I'm saying? Right. And maybe there is a documentary somewhere out there. I'm not sure. I didn't find anything in my readings through.
No, I didn't find anything.
But again, there still might be some series somewhere that has something on possibly him. But I just really think like it's important to talk about Carter Woodson. Again, it's just amazing, dude. He was the first black professional fraternity in the University of Chicago. Became the first one. He was I think he was the first in I think he was the second at Harvard to attend, second African American to attend and earn a doctorate at Harvard.
That's
so
crazy,
he was
man.
number 2. And I looked up the other guy, W.E.B. Du Bois, I think how you say his last name. And I didn't want to lose track of what,
Right.
Of what we were doing, our study on, but so but I kind of clicked on it and I was like, oh, interesting, man. Kind of the same deal, same type of like history background and stuff like that. I think he was a writer and stuff like that. If you guys want to go look him up, absolutely worth researching some of this stuff. It's just so amazing, dude. He had publications. He started let me see if I can find it, dude. Well, the name of the
1915.
Yeah.
He founded, let me get it right, the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History.
That's still in publication today, dude.
Yes. That was in Chicago.
Right. And I was reading in there that still, whatever publication still publishes under that, even though it's under, I can't remember, it's under a different name,
right?
But it's still, his idea is still published in 2021, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's freaking crazy. I was like, man, dude, that's like 100 years.
Yeah,
has near 100 years.
Wrote some great pieces. Published that same year, 1915. Published The Education of the Negro prior to 1861. A Century of Negro Migration.
Right.
In the history of the Negro Church. A Century of Negro Migration was 1918, and the Negro Church was in 1927.
Right.
I went on to publish and be a part of multiple publications in the future. You know what I mean? Which we'll talk about going forward, but just his like you said, his whole kind of purpose and motivation behind it was, I have an interest. First and foremost, I have an interest in my history. He believed that his history and his culture's history was a part of American history, which I agree.
100%, dude. 100%. Yeah.
You can't. If you want to leave it out, go ahead and try, but it's there.
Right.
And he believed that it needed to be out there, and more people, black, white, whatever, needed access to this information. And like you said, you just keep forcing the hand. Okay, you're not going to do nothing about it? Okay, cool. I'm going to write this, and I'm going to write this, and I'm going to write this, and I'm going to take it here, and I'm going to take it here, and I'm going to take it here. And oh, now you're hearing me.
Right.
Now you're hearing me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Just, man, I'm trying to think or find, because he was a dean at a school, and I'm trying to find that. Oh, he worked in the Philippines, too. I wanted to mention that. That was really interesting, dude. That was really kind of cool, like studying basically abroad.
He was like an advisor or something like that, right?
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
For like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, just...
that's outstanding.
That's crazy. And I really kind of want how the Philippines were back in that day.
Right.
In that time. I have no idea, dude. I have no clue. I have some Filipino people that work with me at my job. Great people, but I'm really curious about how it was like back in that day. I wonder if it was a little bit easier to go there.
Yeah, this was in the, what,
early 1900s,
like 1903.
I think it was 1903.
Like
yeah,
something like that. 1903.
So just that he studied abroad, dude.
Crazy, bro.
And did that, and then trying to think.
Oh yeah, that like
Howard University. There we go.
Oh yeah, Howard
University.
Yep.
That's where he started his real professional, I guess, job.
Yeah.
I would say, and being a teacher, and then actually wound up becoming the dean of that university.
Yeah.
Later on in his career.
Yeah.
But just
HBCU.
Just fascinating, man. Just but he devoted all of his time, dude, pretty much, even though he was teaching history, was to what we know of now as Black History Month. And I want to, because it.
Get it right.
Yeah.
Get it right. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, bro. Take your time. You got it.
Yeah, man. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, okay. So it started in 1926. Is in its where is it? Negro History Week. So that's what he started in 1926, and it was in February, which was really interesting. And it's between Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass' birthdays around that time, and that's why he did it around that week,
right?
To basically bookend. That's why he chose those that date, which I thought was really interesting. It went all the way up until 1970 when it became an actual month. In certain people's, I should say, in certain sectors, it became
in certain sectors of the U.S.
Right,
yes,
and it wasn't
it was
until
not fully recognized.
It wasn't fully recognized until 1976.
Okay,
and that's when it became the actual month of February, what we know today, and what we're celebrating
as Black History Month
today.
Yeah.
So, man, just a amazing guy, dude. You know, just amazing that he started that week. You know, and it's blown up into this month. You know, just hands down, dude. I'm glad he started it, man. You know, so I had to start somewhere. You know? And if it wasn't for him, where would we be? You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting how one person can change the direction of history itself.
Yeah. The level of just tenacity that he had, as far as, you know, making sure that he just didn't stop, right? He was a dean at West Virginia Collegiate Institute, which is now West Virginia. I was going to say West Virginia State, but back then it is West Virginia State
still the
now.
Same. Right.
From 19 to 1922. I mean, so it was like, it wasn't just the fact that he was writing and publishing these works. He was taking these works to different places and explaining what he was doing and getting a team of people. I mean, there's multiple Black historical figures that are tied to him as well, because of, hey, I need you. Hey, I need you. Hey, I need you. I need you. And they went from place to place, from school to school, and not just like, it wasn't just, oh, we're just going to focus on our schools. It was like, no, we're going to go to the predominantly white schools. You know, I mean, West Virginia at that time, predominantly white, as far as, you know what I mean? West Virginia State is a, you know, regular university.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like an HBCU or anything like
Right.
that, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was just sticking with the, you know, the Howards of the world, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was, you know, I'm going to go to, you know, not only get my education from a major university in a Harvard, but I'm going to go to different schools. I love that he kept his roots as well in Chicago, you know, and kind of that was the hub of every, even though he moved around, it always ended up back in Chicago somehow, some way, and stayed true to, you know, to his roots,
right?
You know what I mean? And kept going back to his hub and getting his people. Okay, where we going next? Right. You know, and to think about that, man. To think that, you know, he started a week. He wanted to start a week. He started a week. You know, that basically it was like, okay, well, we got this week, but you know, later down the road, I think it was Kent State. some people at Kent State said, this is great and we honor it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just make it the whole month? Because
Right.
there's a lot of stuff that we can cram in here. Especially the more you know, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you can teach. Right. And so the more they were learning, they're okay, we're learning all this. We need to be able to give this to the people. And if it wasn't for the Godfather Carter Woodson, basically making it his task to get that information out, who knows if we'd be exactly where we are today. I would say no.
Right. I would say no as well. I don't think so. Obviously, things take different shapes and forms as time goes on, and different people shape different futures for the course of everybody, really, but it's hard to say, obviously, because we live in the world where he does exist, thank God, of what he has done and his education, and still basically educating today.
Well, and here's the other thing. He was a large part of the evolution of the NAACP as well.
Right.
So in 1915, he basically wrote a letter to the chairman of the NAACP, and expressed some issues that he had,
Right.
and what he proposed, as a solution for the future.
Right.
One of them being, he said they needed an office. They needed an office where people can report whatever concerns that black people have. And then, the NAACP can take those concerns and address them. Right.
Right.
But they needed a center hub. So at this time, they did not have a center hub. It was just a bunch of people who were friends who got together and talked about stuff. That changed it. That made taking that information and saying, oh, shit, you're right. Changed the way the NAACP operated and moved forward and now, recognized as, the NAACP.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
The other one was, where is it?
Yeah, we got notes everywhere, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, we got notes everywhere.
Basically,
they
had a magazine.
Yeah.
Called The
magazine.
Crisis.
Yep.
Right. Edited by W.B. Du Bois.
Yes, they were. Yes.
So they worked hand in hand, which which is crazy, right? They went.
Right,
one and two at Harvard.
Right.
Hey, they look at each other like, hey,
right?
It's just me and you, bro.
Right. Let's work together.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
That somebody go out there and try to get more subscriptions for this magazine. So basically, get out there, be a salesman.
Right.
Right. Get out there and try to get people to get subscribed to this magazine, so that they can get a hold of this information. So It wasn't, it wasn't just about that. It was about, again, just trying to get this information out.
Yes.
And so not only did he do it in his own way, but he went to the NAACP and said, you guys need to have changes. And they implemented those changes and changed the way they are now and the way they operate.
All these moving pieces, man, that he has,
Yeah, all the hands that he had in.
And it's not just teaching in a high school or in a college. It's doing publications. It's the books he has written. It's the magazines. It's the articles that are still coming out today that are still being published. Just creating a week in every year. What can we do? It's just a constant moving of these fantastic, dude. Like, never slowed down, never stopped, continually working with multiple people accepting, certain, what it seems like. And when I read this stuff, right, and it's hard to, you try to picture the man himself as you're reading some of this stuff, right? It never seemed like he was like how do I put this? Like mean, rude. Like he just seemed, when you're reading this stuff, it's like no, here we go. Here's this. Oh, you don't like it? Okay, I'm gonna take it over here. Hey, here's this. Okay, you don't want it? Okay, I'll just keep. And he just kept going. He was just like, okay, thank you for your, like, this is how I pictured the man. Oh, thank you for your time. And
scholar.
You know, just
a straight up scholar.
Right.
A straight up scholar.
Like the image that when I'm reading this stuff, the images are just fascinating to me, what I'm seeing as the man.
And we gotta think about this. You know, we talked about Hank Aaron, we talked about Cicely Tyson on the last one. And the time frame, right? And so he was doing this stuff before Cicely Tyson was born.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we talked about the things that Cicely Tyson had to go through as an actress. He was doing this over 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy to think about.
You know, and the descendant of slaves. It's like, for him to be able to take, you know, the hardships that his family went through, and not just excel, you know, but change the culture, because he could have easily just settle for being a coal miner.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
easily,
school could have just got too much, and he's like, you know what? My parents need bread. We need bread.
Right.
I'm gonna just stay up in these coals.
Easily could have been like, and you know what? Well, you know what's really interesting about that? I think that's very applicable to even today, today's standards, like of, you know, well, man, I got to put food on the table, right?
Facts.
And I got to work this crap. I love doing. You know, I love mathematics.
Or I want to go back to school, but
right. I want to learn mathematics, you know, or whatever. I love doing math problems, but I'll put that aside. But he did multiple. Like, you know what I'm saying? He worked in the coal mine. He still went to high school to get his diploma,
and then got in the field,
and then just kept going.
Got right in the field and kept going.
Right.
Yeah. And think about it, 20, 21, 22. And you're like, look, I'm gonna hit the ground running.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he could have graduated and still not kept on with his studies. You know what I'm saying? And not only did he do that, but he did it in a very fashionable way. Right. You know, so,
and he lived quite a long life too. You know, 4 years, almost 75. From 1875 to 1950.
Yeah.
That's 75 years, but I think he died short of his birthday.
He did die short of his birthday.
So he was 74, but still, man, that's, 74, and getting work done, all the way up till pretty much his death, man. Like, he was constantly in the field of education.
Yeah.
Let's educate.
Yes.
And you know what, man? Education.
Huge.
What do we talk about all the time, dude?
Talk about it all the time.
It's always, hey, go research it.
Yeah, go research.
Educate yourself.
Go educate yourself
about what. Don't just spew something out if you don't know. It's okay not to know. It's okay to be a little bit ignorant about a situation or something you don't know about.
Yeah.
Go look it up. Go research it. Go figure out what the answer is, or you'll get some sort of information where you can form your own opinion about that information. Right. But educate yourself. Always educate yourself. And I think that's the master educator, dude. Like, hands down, one of the best educators I think I've ever read about, and look, man, there's fantastic educators all across the world living today, academics, doing great work. But
for sure,
to me, this is the forefather
that's what it's all
of
about.
This stuff.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Is not only just being an educator, which I think is very undervalued in our society, especially. But finding new ways and new things to bring to the table when it comes to education. Mm-hmm. And especially when it comes to history, history is supposed to be about the truth. We know that's not always the case. We know that history is about the winning team most of the time. Mm-hmm. Mega Ran has a great line in a song. I can't remember the name of the song, but he goes, he says, history is always told from the side of the winning team. You know, I'm paraphrasing here. But I remember the first time I heard
how true is that?
Yeah, and I think he said this shit years ago. It was a couple years ago he had a song. But yeah, so
think about that,
dude. He was
That's
you know,
crazy.
he was interested in telling the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
at least it gets again. What are you trying to do? He's trying to educate as many people as he can. Right. Don't matter the skin color. Just get it in people's hands. Let's learn about Black history because it's pushed to the side, and it was ignored. It's still kind of ignored today, you know. But we've come a long way, and thankfully for him, we have come a long way. Because again, if you play that what if game, you think to yourself, man, if it wasn't for him, where would we be sitting? Would we even sitting here doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know, it's a very interesting that this man existed and did fantastic things, and credit to him that we're sitting here doing this podcast and doing a Black History Month series.
Yeah, and you know, going back to one of the main reasons he wanted to do this, because you know you always get the question, well, you know, why just a month, or you know, or you on the flip side, you get why? Well, what do y'all have a month? You know, if you ain't figured it out, then y'all motherfuckers got the other fucking 11,
right?
But anyways, the week was intended to draw attention to, so that you could further pursue yourself. The month is intended to draw. There's too much history to put into a month. That's why there's a whole year in school of people doing it, of all this other history.
Right.
This is crammed into a month, and it's normally about the same, I don't know, 10 people.
Right.
Normally.
Right.
But it's there so that the hope is that you find an interest in it and you pursue more information. And nobody's asking you to get a PhD like Carter Woodson did, but just go out and look some stuff up.
Right.
You hear about it, look it up.
By the way, real quick, man, little side note. I really wish I had better history teachers when I was growing up in high school, man. Because let me
yeah, go ahead.
Listen, man, like throughout now yours might be different. For me, I'm just speaking me personally. I had some of the worst history teachers in high school, period.
Okay.
They were the gym coach, and I ain't knocking the gym coach.
The gym coach is the football coach, or one of the coaches is always
one of the coaches at your high school. I always seemed to be running history.
Always
and it was
history. That's facts.
It sucked because as somebody, I like history, dude, but when it's not taught to you correctly, right? And it's like it's sliding you a piece of paper and saying, "Oh, hey, just memorize the 50 states, and then we're gonna have a quiz next week on that." In high school, dude, like that's what we're learning about. Or hey, just go ahead and read a chapter. We might have a quiz, we might not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too. But I think the curriculum is a huge part of it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what it stems from, if it's actual the teach. I'm just saying, I really wish, and I don't know how it is today. It might be different, you know.
More available information.
But man, do I wish I had better history teachers.
Like I said, they pick the same like 10 people all the time, and like half the month is Martin Luther King.
Right. That's what I mean. By the way, that's why
slapping a little Rosa Parks here, and you know what I'm saying.
By the way, that's why, in case anybody wondering why we've never done Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, it's not that we don't, for Black history, but it's been done. Not gonna happen. You guys have, whoever's watching or listening to this, you know that you already know. You already know. Yeah. We kind of want to bring other stuff and other interesting people to the table, man, and talk about it and. Educate ourselves through this whole process.
For sure.
Because it's the fun of it, and it's the celebration of it, and that's what it should be. It should be learning about new people, not the same 10 every year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially when you already know.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Back to CG Dub.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to go over a couple of honors and
Yes,
tributes,
dude, let's do it. Let's do that real quick. Yeah,
he's
for
had.
sure.
I'll name off a couple. I know you probably got a couple you want to name off. Carter G. Woodson Book Award was established in 1974. Okay, and the award gave this, and I quote, for the most distinguished social science books appropriate for young readers that depict ethnicity in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So great books about black people that young readers can read. Gave an award for writers in 1974. Awesome.
Right.
The USPS.
Right.
Gave him his own stamp.
Yep.
20-cent stamp in 1984. Like, again, not that long ago.
By the way, if I'm ever in DC, because that's in here, they preserved his house.
Yeah, I was getting there. You jumped the gun.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You got it.
No, but
that'd be dope to go visit that,
dude,
for sure,
like,
bro. Fact.
Because what does everybody go do in DC when they go to DC, right?
Yeah,
you go see the Washington Monument. You go see the Lincoln Monument.
I'm going to see the Woodson.
Right? Wouldn't you go see his?
I don't want to see none of that other stuff.
They preserved his home.
I've seen it enough in history books,
and they made it a museum.
I know what it looked like.
You know,
I'm pulling up on you, Carter.
Yeah, it's a national historical site. So if there's somebody out there who's in DC, man, or if you're planning a trip to DC, I don't know if you are. It's still COVID out there as far as Yep, still is. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I think that'd be awesome because I've always kind of wanted to visit DC at some point in my life, you know, and I haven't gotten the chance to yet, but that's definitely on my list.
For sure.
You know.
For sure. Chocolate City, for sure.
Yep.
Another thing, he's had numerous schools, libraries named after him. Carter G. Woodson Elementary in Los Angeles, Carter G. Woodson Public Charter School in Fresno. The Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American Museum in St. Petersburg in Florida. The Carter G. Woodson Regional Library in Chicago. Carter G. Woodson Liberal Arts Building at Grambling State. Shout out to Grambling State. I got a couple homies that went to Grambling State, graduated from there. Yeah, man, just so many things. You know, so many honors.
Dude, there's like the list just keeps going on and on. I mean, but again, for a fantastic man, and what a great man, and man, what he's done.
We try to cover it all.
The culture.
We try to cover it all here on the podcast. Yeah. It is impossible to cover the amount of information on these people that we are researching. We are not purposely giving you everything because there is so much.
Right.
And we want you guys to go look for yourselves.
Yeah,
we're giving you tidbits.
Just little tidbits,
but the fact that this man started a history week that turned into a month that still to this day stands, and the reasoning behind it, which was basically y'all need to hear this, y'all need to see this, y'all need to read about this, I think is reason enough for you guys to go
check it out.
Go hear it.
Yeah, go check
see
him out.
it. Go read about it. You know what I'm saying?
And further, you know, he's written books and they've been republished.
Yes.
You know, so it's not, they're still out there.
Yep.
You know, and they still can go grab one of those books and go read it and
get on Amazon. No, there's got to be audio book somewhere. Or
that's all you had to say was Amazon.
Digital book somewhere.
Amazon's everywhere, man. Amazon's everywhere. But anyways, yeah, man. So
Carter G. Woodson, man. Carter Godwin, the Godfather of Black History Month. Man. Woodson. I'm gonna put that on his Wikipedia too. I'm gonna put that the Godfather.
Submit it, dude. Submit it in there. Yeah, you can submit anything on Wikipedia.
I know you can. They'll deny me, but whatever.
You never know, man. It was by Dre Bobby.
I gotta put the DB in there, huh?
You do. You have.
I gotta put DB. I gotta put DB Ward.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then it makes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like W.E.B. Dubois. You feel me?
Very good, man. Yeah.
Once you put the initials in there, it's like you're official.
It's like really official.
It's official.
Yeah,
it's official.
It's like a stamp almost.
It's like they didn't want to call him Carter Godwin. Was this like Carter G?
Yeah.
It's official. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You ever notice that back, real quick, just
Yeah.
on a super random tangent. Back then, everything was your name, your middle initial, and your last name.
Yeah.
This letter was written to you from Walter P. Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, yo, this is from Wally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all short.
It's all,
yeah.
thanks, Wally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. We've
anyways.
gotten lazy, huh?
Yeah, man.
In our
Big
literature.
time.
Jeez.
Sup, yo.
Yep. I mean, it's
Wally.
now it's just an emoji, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's just oh, hey, hi, a little wavy hand
Little
or
peace.
yeah, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Hey, I'm on the way over.
anyways, man, you guys stay safe
You
and
caught
you
me at
guys stay
mid-sip, bro.
positive out there.
Yeah.
Please go check out every person that we're doing this month. We got a couple more episodes this month for you guys. And we got some more exciting things coming up in the month of March too. Just a little,
For sure.
put that in a little.
For sure.
That's all I'm gonna say. So, anyways, you guys stay safe. You guys stay positive.
As always, this is the Gray Space. Peace.